Simon, you said after last week, you said you were going to go deep into the Wive. What happened against Freo? What did you discover, and what panned out today as from last week? What your discoveries?
Yeah, look, it's hard to sit there and say, but there were things in our game that were a lot better. And there were things that we still need to work on. Collingwood's pressure was outstanding, and we didn't deal with their pressure very well. It made our execution look pretty average at times, and certainly around the ball, we coughed up the ball way too much. So credit to them. You know, it's part of the game that clearly they are very elite at, and they brought that today to a really high level. So, but there was other things in our game where we took a big step forward. Now you sit here with a loss like that, and yeah, it's hard to say. But it's because it's frustrating, and I know our supporters want to win, and so do I. And we're optimistic that we're just going through a little patch at the moment that we need to work through, and we'll come out the other side. But most teams will go through a little patch like we're going through. But we're very optimistic about what's possible as we move forward through this. You know, some emergence of some young forwards working together more consistently that we'll look to continue on with. And our method will continually get better. So, you know, as I said, we're optimistic, but we're incredibly disappointed with the result. And I know our supporters would be, but it's hard to sit here and say that. But, you know, that's how the game panned out.
But the last 2 weeks have been your two lowest scores of the year. I mean, the forward struggles have been a bit of a recurring theme the last few years at this club. How concerning is that for you in this little patch you're talking about?
Well, our first thing to fix up was how much entry we get. You know, 35. We've had twice in the last, 2 of the 3 weeks, and today was a lot better in that space. So, you can't score if you're not getting entry. So that was the first thing we need to tidy up. And once again today, that was better. But clearance became an issue in the third quarter for us. And obviously our efficiency in getting high quality entries and being able to maximise and finish those entries is something we're continually working on. We've lent into that for a while, and we will continue to lean into that.
Simon, Max was pretty strong in the centre again, but you lose centre clearances 14-6. I guess, how did you see that battle unfold?
Yeah, no, it's an area of the game we've got to get better at. Centre clearances isn't to the level. You know, it's 2 weeks in a row now. They were -12 last week and -8 this week, and it's a big part of the game. Being able to get field position, against any type of team, but more importantly with the type of team that you want to be. That's an area of our game we have to get better at, and we will.
How are you sort of viewing Oliver and Viney in particular, two of your biggest leaders, especially in that part of the ground? How are you sort of seeing how they're tracking currently?
Yeah, as I said, I thought Collingwood's pressure, I'm not going to talk about individuals today, I thought Collingwood's pressure in and around stoppage and scrimmage was very, very good. And hence why they ended up winning that battle. Quite often we had hands on the ball but weren't able to maximise, and I think the numbers probably don't tell the real tale in that space, but that's an area of the game that once again we need to get better at, dealing with pressure and being able to execute and look clean and good with the ball, especially around stoppage, clearance and obviously our entry. They're all things in the game that we need to get better at, but as I said, to win contests by 20 and get our hands to the ball more and start to generate some more entry. There's some things that are tracking.
Does the bye come at a time that gives you an opportunity to reset ahead of the second half of the year?
It gives us a chance to do some training and get ourselves fresh and get ourselves really in a really good space. And as I said, this game it's small margins in a lot of ways. It's never as bad and never as good. And today we walk away losing a game of footy, but we walk away optimistic about our path forward. And as I said, it's we don't sit here comfortable with where our game sits, but we've got work to do, and we get a chance to do it over the bye.
I guess a concerning aspect of the game, given how decimated Collingwood was heading into today. Did that make, when you look at the final margin, does that make it a bit more worrying for you, I guess?
No, they're a high-quality team, high-quality club. I think they had 15-odd premiership players out there. They know what they're doing. They're well coached, and they play the game with elite speed and pressure. So we knew what we were up against.
What's the early diagnosis of Christian Petrarca?
He's in hospital. He's just getting a scan at the moment. So we're thinking it might be some cracked ribs, but we'll give more information as soon as we get it. But hopefully that's all.
How did you work through the decision with him? Because obviously he did initially play on. He played that second quarter and looked pretty inhibited. How did you sort of work through that, deciding to get him back out there, and then obviously you made the call after?
Yeah, like any anything with a broken rib or a cracked rib, you certainly get some pain relief and see how you can go on. That's a standard process with working through these type of injuries, and it was pretty evident that he wasn't going to be able to play on, so we just pulled it straight away at half time.
Obviously, it has to be assessed, but would you assume that he would miss a couple? Or?
Once I get the information, I'll guarantee I'll pass it on.
How did you assess Alex Neil-Bullen's performance today? It looked like the blueprint to stop Nick Dacos.
Oh, I thought he was brilliant. Yeah, it was a really shining light for us in terms of the way he played and the job that he did. He's a leader of our footy club. You give him a task and he'll get it done for you, and he did that again today. And it's full credit to the way he prepared and the way he went after it.
Jacob Van Rooyen, handled Darcy Moore pretty well.
Yeah, another pleasing sign for us. A young forward that, had a big impact for us forward to centre. So Jacob's been working really hard on his game, and that started to play out today. So, as I said, there are some positives that are starting to evolve. We've just got to keep working on them, and the game will shift pretty quickly for us.
Simon, given the contested numbers were much better and the entries were much better, and there seemed to be quite a few turnovers, some of that pressure, but some of that execution. How much of this do you attribute to just confidence?
Yeah, there's a little bit in that. Is that without question? Obviously, we need to be better with the ball, whether that be under pressure or, perceived pressure. We need to execute better. And we got ourselves in positions where we had a lot of shots in the end. We just didn't execute with our finish in front of goal, and we didn't execute with the ball well enough. We turned the ball over way too much, whether it be pressured or unpressured. And that's something of our game we have to get better. And you're right, when it starts to come, it feels better and it feels more confident, and it'll turn.
You mentioned pressure that the Collingwood applied, and probably on the other side of the coin, I think they're allowed to take like 105 uncontested marks today. Was that sort of an area that you're sort of talking about that you might have to sharpen up as well?
Yeah, obviously they're very efficient with the ball, and they're able to work their way through at times. They went at, I think, 30% from one end of the ground. We went at 40%. So they were able to use it in a way that was a little bit more effective and got them higher quality entries, and something we'll have to work on.
Any concerns over work rate, or are you happy with that and it feels more like just execution?
Yeah, look, I thought the work rate today was pretty strong right across the game. It's just our execution with the ball, whether it be pressure or unpressured, and stoppage in the third quarter was an issue for us. So there's some clear things, obviously, with the ball and our finish and our stoppage in the third quarter. They're things that stood out in the game. They were clear as day for everyone to see. They were things in the game that we needed to get better at, and we didn't. So that cost us the game of footy.
Mate, there was obviously a bit of a storyline heading into today. How did you find the players handle that? There was obviously, I would assume, a bit of emotion given what happened last time you played, and your comments post-game.
Yeah, we didn't speak about it at all. We spoke about our game, the way we want to be seen, and the way we want to go about the game. So, we'll let the past be the past and keep moving forward.
Just with Alex, you talked about him being a shining light. Is that a thing that you can go to moving forward? Because obviously he's been such a critical link man and pressure forward in your forward line when he's gone in there too. Is that something that you can lean to more, or is it just maybe it was a horses for courses today with Dacos?
Oh, something we've found, without question. I think everyone needs a player that can go and do a job for you, and Alex Neil-Bullen was that guy today, and he proved to everyone that he's more than capable of doing a job like that. So, once again, in these type of games, you can find things, and we found one today with Alex.
How big's the loss of Angus been? Obviously, today it seemed like really stark. He could have been, someone that could have really helped you. It's such a hole on the eve of the season. And how can you sort of quantify how big the loss has been?
Oh, without question, I think any team that loses a leader with the age that Angus has got, the experience he's got, and what he gives your team, it's an incredibly big loss. We miss him a lot, like any team would, but. Right now where we sit, that's not something we're thinking about. We're thinking about our club moving forward, getting consistency and getting ourselves back in form to win games of footy, and that's what this competition's about. We're in it, and we'll come back after the bye and we'll be ready to go.
Thanks, Freddie.
Thanks, guys.